Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on where you are in this world. God bless you. This is Gloria White coming to you from Utah, USA. I have to tell you guys, it warmed my heart. Some comments that I got on my sad story, I just busted out crying. Scott, you were one of them. And then Johnny Harper at Scout's table. Oh my gosh, just let him saw the bone off. I was like, you have me cracking up. And and then Robin, she was saying that I needed a gel cushion. I just need to find somebody that threw a sofa out and find a new sofa cushion because I've been riding around on a sofa cushion for about 4 years now, and I've been through let's see, one, two armchair, those cushioned armchairs, those, what do they call them? It's just a single chair that goes with the sofa set. And I've been through two of those cushions. Then I've been through a love seat, both of those cushions. And some other cushion that I had before that, I can't remember, but um, and then I saw one sofa somebody threw out the other day, and I intended to go over and check on it, but before I got back to it, it started raining, so I'll have to wait for somebody to throw another one out that I can go check on and see if I can switch cushions, which would be a help. Anyway, I was supposed to get that MRI tomorrow, and they scheduled me for 11 o'clock to be there at 11 and to do it at 1 o'clock. And they had told me before they were going to do it first thing in the morning. And then they tell me that, oh, well, because you're wobbly on your feet, you're going to need somebody to be with you for 24 hours. And I might have told you guys this already. But I was like, well, how are you going to find somebody in 24 hours to come just, I mean, it was like, first off, I don't know anybody that can come and spend the night with me. I tried to get my youngest granddaughter, and they're all sick with the stomach flu. So she says, I don't think you want me to bring you that. And I said, no, I really don't. And then my neighbor, my sister in Christ, who I have a Bible study with, she just moved, and I know she's slap worn out. So I didn't want to ask her. And then so I told the lady when she called me about the scheduling time, I told her that, and she goes, okay, well, we'll just cancel you for now. And I was like, oh, well, okay. And then I said, you know what? Let me call the senior services and see if there's some. But, oh my goodness, they said they could get somebody for me, but it would be $23 an hour. So, anyway, the whole thing is canceled now. And I had another lady call me, and I've been sleeping. It's been crazy. I'll sleep couple of hours and I'll get up and I'll be up for a couple of hours and I have to go back to bed, and I'll go back and I'll fall asleep for maybe 6 or 7 hours and I get up. So I don't know what day of the week it is anymore or if it's AM or PM. You used to could tell when the sun would be coming in around the cardboard I stuck in my window to make it dark back there, because it's hard to sleep in the middle of the day, but I have to lay down sometimes in the middle of the day. So this evening, and the phone rang, and I answered it, and it was a different lady calling to talk to me about the MRI for tomorrow. And I'm like, I said, oh, hon, she canceled on me. She canceled me because I didn't have somebody lined up. And she says, oh, well, okay. She says, well, do you know when you're going to reschedule? And I'm like, no, because I really need them to fit me in the first thing in the morning, because if they expect me to get up in the morning and then travel to the hospital and then be there for 2 more hours before I can take anything for pain, I said, that's really not going to work out for me. So she says, well, let me give you the number to reschedule. So she gave me the phone number to reschedule. And I'm like, you know what? I will see my PCP, my primary care physician, on the 9th. So until then, the guy is coming from the senior services tomorrow for me to sign papers. But I thought it was the morning when this lady was calling, because it was 7:56. And so I thought it was in the morning. And then when I hung up, I went, is it morning or is it after? Why is she calling me now? I mean, I thought it was already Wednesday. I'm like, oh, I can't even keep up with what day of the week it is anymore. It's awful. So anyway, it's getting to be like a clown show around here. I'm like, okay. And I can hardly walk around now. So, and my garbage bag leaked in my garbage can. So I sprayed it and I stuck it in the bathtub to wash it out. And so it's back there in the bathtub. I've got a garbage bag with trash in it on the floor over there in the kitchen. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got dishes in the dish drain and I can't stand up to put them away. So what's in the dish in the sink now, I don't even have anywhere to wash and put them for them to dry. I'm like, oh, the guy's coming in the morning, and hopefully, I can get somebody in here quick to help me. And then we can get the garbage can out of the bathtub and get the garbage bag back in the garbage can and get the dishes put away. And we can go from there. And I'm like, at least I can still sit and do my Bible studies. And so that's what I'm doing. And so today we're going to be in the King James Version of the Holy Bible. And we are in the book of Acts, and we are in chapter 25. And I noticed that I mislabeled the chapter yesterday for Acts 24. I put it as 23, so I went and I changed that, so now it says 24. And now we're in chapter 25. Now, when Festus was come into the province, after 3 days, he ascended from Caesarea to Jerusalem. Then the high priest and the chief of the Jews informed him against Paul, and besought him, and desired favor against him, that he would send for him to Jerusalem, laying wait in the way to kill him. But Festus answered, that Paul should be kept at Caesarea, and that he himself would depart shortly thither. Let them therefore, said he, which among you are able, go down with me, and accuse this man, if there be any wickedness in him. And when he had tarried among them for more than 10 days, he went down unto Caesarea, and the next day, sitting on the judgment seat, commanded Paul to be brought. And when he was come, the Jews which came down from Jerusalem stood round about, and laid many and grievous complaints against Paul, which they could not prove. While he answered for himself, neither against the law of the Jews, neither against the temple, nor yet against Caesar, have I offended anything at all. But Festus, willing to do the Jews a pleasure, answered Paul and said, Wilt thou go up to Jerusalem, and there be judged of these things before me? Then said Paul, I stand at Caesar's judgment seat, where I ought to be judged. To the Jews have I done no wrong, as thou very well knowest. For if I be an offender, or have committed anything worthy of death, I refuse not to die. I refuse not to die. Let me see what this is translated. I do not object to dying. But if there be none of these things whereof these accuse me, no man may deliver me up unto them. I appeal unto Caesar. Now, he did this because he's a Roman citizen. Then Festus, when he had conferred with the council, answered, Hast thou appealed unto Caesar? Unto Caesar shalt thou go. And after certain days, King Agrippa and Bernice came unto Caesarea to salute Festus. And when they had been there many days, Festus declared Paul's cause unto the king, saying, There is a certain man left in bonds by Felix, about whom I was at Jerusalem. The chief priests and the elders of the Jews informed me, desiring to have judgment against him. To whom I answered, It is not the manner of the Romans to deliver any man to die, before that he which is accused have the accusers face to face, and have license to answer for himself concerning the crime laid against him. Therefore, when they were come hither, without any delay, on the morrow I sat on the judgment seat, and commanded the man to be brought forth, against whom, when the accusers stood up, they brought none accusation of such things as I supposed, but had certain questions against him of their own superstition, and one of Jesus, which was dead, whom Paul affirmed to be alive. And when I doubted of such manner of questions, I asked him whether he would go to Jerusalem, and there be judged of these matters. But when Paul had appealed to be reserved unto the hearing of Augustus, I commanded him to be kept till I might send him to Caesar. Then Agrippa said unto Festus, I would hear the man myself. Tomorrow, said he, thou shalt hear him. And on the morrow, when Agrippa was come, and Bernice with great pomp, and was entered into the place of hearing, when the chief captains and the principal men of the city, at Festus' commandment, Paul was brought forth. And Festus said, King Agrippa, and all men which are here present with us, ye see this man, about whom all the multitude of the Jews have dealt with me, both at Jerusalem and also here, crying that he ought not to live any longer. But when I found that he had committed nothing worthy of death, and that he himself hath appealed to Augustus, I have determined to send him, of whom I have no certain thing to write unto my Lord. Wherefore I have brought him forth before you, and specially before thee, O King Agrippa, that after examination I might have somewhat to write. He didn't have anything to say to Augustus. And so he's like, maybe you can give me some ideas here. For it seemeth to me unreasonable to send a prisoner, and not withal to signify the crimes laid against him. A bunch of liars. Boy. And these Jews, they're not like your regular Jews. These are what are called and known as Kenites. Kenites. Those are the children of Satan, or Cain, descendants of Cain, Abel's brother, whom Jesus said was a liar and a murderer from the beginning. Talking about Satan, where he lied to Eve, and then he And then Cain murdered his brother Abel. And so we are dealing here with these Jews who are actually Kenites, descendants of Cain or Satan, because they're always trying to stir up trouble, and these were the same ones that came against Christ. But had Satan known that by crucifying Christ, that Christ would rise from the dead, defeating death and sin and Satan himself, Satan would have done everything in his power to keep Christ alive. But he didn't know everything. He only knows what he was taught. And the things that Satan was taught, he had only learned the things that weren't any good. He hadn't been there. He hadn't been there in God's presence for God to have trusted him with the more good and powerful things. So he only knows like the bad stuff when those fallen angels came down, and they taught the women how to make spells and cast spells and do abortions and every other thing that's, of the fame of Satan. That's why God wiped the first earth age away with the flood. So we are in the second earth age, and the third one will be in eternity. So that's when Christ will have come back, and there'll be a new heaven and a new earth, and all the other stuff will have gone away. And God will say, and I make all things new. And we won't have any evil in those times. Can you imagine no evil? I mean, think about it. How wonderful that's going to be, huh? No liars, no thieves, no murderers, no false testifiers, nobody that's going to be mean and hateful. Wow, huh? That's going to be a pretty awesome time, don't you think? I think it's going to just be wonderful. Just to think that there won't be any pain or sorrow or anybody being hungry or thirsty, that those needs will be met, and we know that Jesus has gone before us to make a place for us. Can you even imagine? Because he loves us so much, and he can do anything or say anything, make anything with just the breath of his word. Can you even try to wrap your mind around what kind of place he has made for us to dwell in there in heaven with him? I mean, wherever it is, it's going to be wonderful because he's there and the Father's there, right? And all the angels and all our brothers and sisters in Christ will be there with us. Makes everything in this world that happens seem so tiny and insignificant, doesn't it? Does to me. And as always, I love you.